Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to diagnose and fix a speedometer. This is on a 1997 Polaris Indy 440, but I'm guessing this is the same, most likely the same procedure for a lot of other older snowmobiles. So this is our speedometer box, as you can see from up here. That's the speedometer. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull this off and then we're going to test it. I'm going to put a jack back here. Gonna lift it up and we'll test to see if the rotor spins. And that first step will tell you whether this is the part that's going bad or if you have to follow the cable back all the way back to back there and pull the secondary clutch off and pull out your little 90-degree thing and fix your needle or replace your needle. So you can't really see it back there, but way back down there is the 90-degree spot or whatever, but that's important to check only if this doesn't spin. So I'm guessing it's gonna be down there, but honestly I have no clue. So I guess we'll start by pulling this off. Use a channel lock and go up in here and just loosen this little thing here. All right. So as you can see, I got it pulled out of there, and you can see a little square thingy, and actually I can turn this, which I don't think you're supposed to be able to do, but it doesn't look too bad. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna jack the back of this snowmobile up and see if that thing spins. All right, so I got it jacked up, and as you can see, the track is just barely off of the floor. So that'll work for now. And now we're just gonna start it up and watch to see if this spins. Alright, so it did not spin at all. It's kind of chaotic trying to hold the camera. And I don't think I should be able to pull this out. I definitely shouldn't be able to pull this out, but it might be really tough to get it pulled back in. But actually, I'm going to push it back in. I don't want to. I don't think you should take this out. But it just feels really loose and it spins freely, so I think that's a problem. So I put it all the way back into there. So now that you've either figured out that it's your top part or if it's either your cable or your 90-degree thing down there, you can tell whether to keep watching this video, because I'm not gonna work on this because I was guessing it was gonna be this, but I'll show you how to fix this if the cable was your problem and not your speedometer itself. All right, so you are going to have to take your secondary clutch off. It's a lot better than taking your primary clutch off though. I'm not sure if I'm gonna remove this panel yet, but yeah, you can't see it really, but down there, that's our little bracket that's connected to our output shaft. And that'll tell us your speed. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the belt off, and I'll show you how to do this really quick. All right, so it's pretty simple. Take your belt off. All you gotta do is you're gonna lock in your brake. We're just gonna lock that in really quick. Come on, there you go. So lock in your brake, and then you're gonna push on this and push it to the left. Ah. All right, and then you're gonna grab your belt and pull it right out. All right, now our belt is off, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull the secondary clutch out. All right, so I'm actually gonna go ahead and remove this panel. And I'm guessing it's only like 4 Phillips screws. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove this panel. I think there's about 4 Phillips screws, maybe less. I think you can just pop them right out. And this hook for the rubber strap to hold the hood down, this just twists out. Two more down here. Ooh, funny thing. These are actually Torx. Didn't realize that. All right, so those 2 bottom ones are just T25s. There's actually 3 on the bottom, but mine's missing one. So now you can just remove this panel. You can tilt it down and then slide it up. Set that aside. Now you have much better access to your clutch assembly. This nut down here is a 1/2 inch. We're just gonna pop it out and make sure your brake is still locked. And that should come right out, and make sure all these washers and stuff stays on there. There is a little spacer in here that usually comes out with it. It didn't this time, but yeah, make sure you keep all your washers on there. I'm just gonna set this over here. Make sure to keep them in the order that they are. All right, now this should just pop right out. All right, so my clutch is actually pretty stiff. So what I'm doing is I'm put a bunch of this freeze off stuff on there. And try to hit it with a 2x4, and if it doesn't come off, I might just wait overnight and then try it in the morning. But yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna try to go get a 2x4 and hit it a little bit. There's not really a good place to pry. I was looking for a wheel puller, but I'm not really sure where one would be. But yeah. All right, guys, so it's the next day, and this thing is still quite stuck on. So what I got here is a little puller, and I'm just gonna see if I can pull it off. I hope I got it loose enough that it'll wanna come off, but I don't know, I'm not sure. And it's not quite long enough to hook onto this part, so I'm gonna have to hook onto the inside of the clutch, which I don't really like, but I don't know, we'll see. We'll see if it works. I'm just gonna throw my spacer back in there. Which I think is over here. Uh-oh. Gotta find it first. Oh, there. Put it back on our stack of bolts and stuff. Let's throw this back in there. There we go. And then I'm just gonna put a few washers on here, if they fit in there. Yep. Oh wait, no, it doesn't. I'm gonna go grab some smaller washers just to keep this from messing up the... All right, so I grabbed some smaller washers. These should work. Now I'm just gonna kind of set them on here. Get it right there, should work. And then gonna use a big Milwaukee impact. Make sure I have these set where I want them. Oh yeah, look at that. Thinking that should work. Gonna, oops. Loosen this up. There we go. Oh wow, wait, it's still really stiff. Maybe I should just put it back on. Yeah, that was not gonna come off just by pulling it. And I think I'm still gonna need to. Oh, actually, maybe it's too short now. No, it'll work. I think it should work. Now it should come off. There we go. That's kind of. Oh, here's the pin. Make sure we don't lose that. I should probably clean it up. Actually, it's pretty gross looking. All right. So we don't actually need to do anything to this, but now that we have it off, we have some more room to work on this, which I'll get a little closer angle because you probably can't see it very well. All right, so this here is where the speedometer cable runs into the output shaft right here. And what I'm gonna do is just thread this part right off and check to see if it spins, because that's the next part to see. So I'm just gonna grab, so I just grabbed a channel lock and we're just gonna break it loose here. It actually looks pretty good, honestly. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna spin this with my fingers and see if the other side moves. Alright, so here, I'm not seeing any movement. So that makes me think that this cable went bad, which is quite unfortunate. But as you can see, I'm spinning this side, and that side right there is not spinning at all. So yeah, I think I'm gonna diagnose this as a bad cable, and I'm just gonna order one of those off eBay. I was looking at them earlier, and they only seem to be about like 12 bucks. So yeah, I'm gonna try this again. I'm gonna put a drill on here and twist it to see if that's the problem. All right, so I actually pulled the cable out of the housing there, and as you can tell, it is quite twisted off. So yeah, it's definitely the bad cable. So I'm just gonna order one of those off eBay, and when it comes, I'll show you how to install it. All right, so the new part came. I'm just trying to get it up and through this hole, trying to feed it back in. And I think I got it. There we go. Uh-oh, where's our nut? Gotta get that through too. There we go. Sweet. You got that on. Now we're gonna put it in here. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna hook up the other side. I'm gonna grease this and hope that my key isn't broken. I think it was just the cable, because the cable was snapped in half, but sometimes there's a key that transfers this to that, and sometimes that can wear out and break if it doesn't get greased. So I'm gonna grease that and then hook it up and then maybe try it. Just gotta throw a little grease in there. Should be good.
Now I'm gonna hook up the top. So the old cable, I'm just gonna cut it off and pull it out. And there's a few spots where it goes through like a little riveted on. Well, actually, I could just pop it out of there. There we go. So, just kind of gonna pull the old cable out. Out with the old, and in with the new. All right, so we're just gonna pop this on there. There we go. All right, there we go. Just go this way. All right, that should be good. Got it attached up here and down here. We got that grease. Now I'm gonna throw the clutch back on. I'm also gonna put a new belt on there, and then we'll try it out. All right, so I got everything put back together, and let's watch the speed. Pretty bumpy, but it worked. All right, so that worked out pretty good.